An organization that supports active duty service members has launched an initiative to make changes of duty stations a little easier. The Military Family Advisory Network has partnered with some large retailers to give families a little something when they arrive at the new location. Here with the details, the network's president and executive director, Shannon Razsadin. Ms. Razsadin, good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And tell us a little bit more about the Military Family Advisory Network. There's a lot of service organizations out there, mostly for veterans, but you're talking about the active duty folks, huh?
Absolutely. So we're a 10-year-old organization. What we do is we conduct research and work directly with families to identify where people need more support and then build collaborative solutions. And so we've done a lot of work to uncover the challenges that military and veteran families face. And then we really work to make sure that we're not just sitting on this information, but that we can develop these collaborative solutions that will drive change where people need it most.
And it seems like change of regular duty station, they happen hundreds of thousands of times a year, always fraught with difficulty for families, starting with the move itself, the physical moving companies and all of this. But apparently, from what you're doing, arrival can be a challenge.
So we research the issues and the causal factors that lead to, for example, food insecurity and some of the economic security challenges that families experience. And after we've interviewed more than 300 families who are experiencing these difficulties, we found that there were a few things that were happening in people's lives that brought them to the greatest point of vulnerability. And one of those was a recent move. And so what we are doing is we're working with partners to help make those moves a little bit easier and ease some of the financial burden that's associated with a move, starting with this pilot at Fort Cavazos.
All right. Well, let's tell us what they get, what you organized here to present them with.
So when families arrive at Fort Cavazos, they will have the opportunity to receive a pantry starter kit. And what that is it's this box that's filled with about $150 worth of things that you have to throw away or replace every time that you move. And while so many of the move-related expenses are covered, there are things that are out of pocket that people do have to lean into their budget to figure out every time that you move. And when that happens every 2.5 years, it creates this constant restart that can put people behind the 8 ball a bit when it comes to their finances, not to mention things like paying first and last month's rent. And so when people figure out, when they arrive to Fort Cavazos, we're getting them these things that they might need, but then also we're helping them plug into local resources. As an organization, we believe that oftentimes it's not a case of if the resource that provides support is there, but it's more so if people are aware of it. And so when you're living this transient life and moving on average every 2.5 years, it can be difficult to plug into resources. And so we're creating this dignified mechanism to provide support and help people connect locally when they move.
And so in that kit are food and household items like mops and that kind of thing?
Everything from shower liners to shelf-stable items. The thing is that we might not think about, but when you arrive, it's, oh gosh, I forgot about blank. Things like it's how difficult it can be to create those first few meals when your household's goods have not arrived yet. And so we're really trying to make life a little bit easier and let people know that we're with them every step of the way. We want this transition to be as easy as we possibly can and to help people connect with those local resources so that they can, as seamlessly as possible, integrate to their new home.
And Fort Cavazos is and I'm reading from their website, the Army's premier installation to train and deploy heavy forces. It sounds like a lot of people go through there in the basic type of training, and it sounds like a lot of the people that go through there are probably at the lower ranks and the lower paid ranks. Is that why you chose that location for this program?
Tom, that's exactly why. And when we looked at food insecurity, we saw that around Fort Cavazos had the highest frequency of food insecurity. And so we know that people there, in some cases, are having a hard time making ends meet. And so we wanted the data to drive where we started this program. And that is why we chose Fort Cavazos.
We're speaking with Shannon Razsadin. She's president and executive director of the Military Family Advisory Network. Sounds like you know something a little bit about being a military member or spouse that gets moved.
I do. My husband and I got married, and then immediately we moved overseas to Rota, Spain. And the culture shock, both from the perspective of moving to an OCONUS location and then figuring out what life as a military spouse looks like, it can be hard. And so I'm really honored to do this work. Most of us at Military Family Advisory Network are military connected. And so we bring an authentic approach to the work that we do. And we're really proud to serve the community and integrate ways to make sure that what we are doing is actually driving impact and driving change. So we really build in rigorous program evaluation into the work that we do to make sure that families get the help that they need. Because at the end of the day, families do not care who the support comes from. They care that they get the support that they need. And so we're focused on being that conduit and helping people navigate every phase of military life.
And you have participation from Tyson Food and Walmart. I guess between those, there's lots of chicken to eat and everything else you could need in life. And are they donating these materials into these boxes?
So the support looks very different depending on who the partner is. So you mentioned Tyson Foods and Walmart. They are really providing the funding to get this pilot off the ground. We also just announced a partnership with Instacart. And so when families are arriving, they're asked to take a brief survey. And if they screen as food insecure, they are going to be able to get food support from Instacart. Again, creating these dignified solutions to help people navigate the challenges that they're experiencing. And so we believe that through smart partnerships, we can make 1 + 1 = 3. And we're really honored to have these incredible partners doing this work alongside of us, because at the end of the day, moves are difficult. And we're all here to make it a little bit easier for these families.
And do you have volunteers that are stuffing boxes and that kind of thing?
Our partners have been incredible. And so we've teamed up with Armed Services YMCA and the Cohen Clinic. They are distributing the boxes, but we are working with an organization called Umoja, and they are putting the boxes together at their warehouse. And we're really proud of just the warmth these boxes exude, not just from the things that are inside, but also the care that's going into putting these kits together for families. And what's important to note is this is the first phase of this work, and we'll be rolling out the next several phases over the course of this year. And we're very excited to help really address these left of crisis experiences for families.
Yeah, my question is, can this scale? Because when you start looking at all the possible military installations, you've got a pretty big challenge here.
It can scale, and that's really why we've taken the intentionality that we have. And so what we are doing right now is we're testing and learning a lot. And from there, we'll take a look at our data. We just closed a survey in December to figure out where is the next location that needs the greatest support, and we'll scale to that location and grow from there. At the end of the day, as an organization, we're focused on being the catalyst. And so we're really hoping to create the proof of concept and then really, see where it goes. But we really are invested in making sure that this works, making sure we have the data that backs the impact of the program and growing it, because families need the support and they turn to different places for support. And so there's not a one-size-fits-all solution, but if we can leverage these welcome kits, smart technology, and smart partnerships, we really feel that we can help a lot of families.
And by the way, how do you discover which bases have high levels of food insecurity? I mean, how do you define that, and how do you discover how many people are affected by it?
Sure. So we use the USDA 6-item short form food security scale in our research. And because we own our research start to finish, we are able to dissect our data down to the zip code level. And so that tells us which locations have the highest frequency of food insecurity. That is what informed the work that we did around our Million Meals Challenge. We hosted food distribution events at the locations where we saw the highest frequency. So that was Fort Liberty, that was Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington, the Norfolk area, and Fort Cavazos. And so we're really committed to letting the data tell us where to go and what to do. And that's because we own that research, and because that survey has such a significant response, it allows us to really make informed decisions.
And do you find good cooperation on the part of commanding officers and the apparatus that's in place already? I mean, this place is hundreds of thousands of acres. There's lots of stuff going on, but you find that they'll let you fit into the flow of people arriving?
So since the Taking Care of People initiatives that have been rolled out from the OSD and the Department of Defense, we have seen a lot of great support at the local level. And we continue to lean on that. We continue to be partners, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel here. We want to help complement the existing work that is there. And we also recognize that 70% of military families are living off installation. And so how do we leverage the local community and make sure that people are plugged into what they need regardless of where they are? So how do we meet families where they are? And that's a really important question that takes a public-private partnership approach.
So if a soldier and their family move in next door, bring over a plate of brownies and maybe a few cans of tuna fish.
It couldn't hurt. And I think that we rely so much in some cases on technology, but it's that warm interpersonal connection that I know so many of us miss in a post-pandemic era.